Minutes, top of the hour. Kimberly and Kennedy, what's coming up?
All right, well, to get you on, we got to get you in a plane. Nice shots with, of course, Leah Gabriel. I like that a lot, John. All right, so the immigration crisis heating up as the Obama administration steps up its sales pitch to convince lawmakers to approve nearly $4 billion to combat the growing problem.
And plus, a little later, if you've ever applied for a job, you probably had to say whether or not you've been convicted of a crime. But now some critics want to change all that.
And could you be a jerk at work and not even know it? Can you believe this? The new research that may surprise you. Never.
And so much more. All that and our hashtag one lucky guy on Outnumbered coming up at the top of the hour.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, ladies.
Well, it's a scene that's playing out across the country in a variety of different regions. You have some Americans, I'm happy to learn that some illegal immigrants who have been coming across our southwestern border may be placed in their communities with a little input from residents. One town where there's a big question about what will happen next is Vassar, Michigan. Residents there protesting a local company that's agreed to house illegal immigrants, although it's no sure thing that it's going to happen. Joining us now, Vassar's Mayor Pro Tem, Dan Surgeon. He's the vice mayor, as I understand it. Dan, it's great to have you on the program. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your 2,600-person town.
Thank you, Jenna. On July 1st, myself and 3 other council people, the city manager, police, fire, school superintendent, we were invited to a informational meeting at Pioneer Work and Learn, or Wolverine Human Services. And they had a plan that they wanted to share with us. Well, upon getting there, most of us had no idea what it was all about. They explained to us that they had been talking with a company called Heartland Alliance, Chicago, Illinois. And that the plan was that they were going to bring to Vassar anywhere from 60 to 120 juveniles from the border area, ages 14 to 17. They laid out their plan. They never at any time ever asked us for permission or any input. They didn't ask for any advice, although they did give us a chance at the end to ask them questions. So we were basically told this is what it was going to be if the contracts are signed and so forth.
And let me just stop you there. That's a big if right now, Dan, right? We don't know for sure if that's going to happen. We just know that this nonprofit in your town is offering to the contract to the government.
Yes. They visited each other's facilities. Our people went to Chicago, theirs came here, looked around, and apparently both agreed that this would be a good fit for Pioneer Work and Learn. They have 2 buildings out there. Each one holds 60 residents, which would be 120 if they all came. They told us they would be males aged 14 to 17. I guess it's 12 to 17 now, but at the time it was 14 to 17 at your facility.
Well, and that certainly changes things when you hear it could be unaccompanied minors who could be 4 years old versus if they could be 12 to 17-year-old young men. We're seeing, by the way, some of the protests in your town from yesterday evening. There are obviously people that are upset about this. In general, Dan, if you could, just sum up the concerns of the community.
I think most of the concerns is about security. I personally know some people who are from Honduras, they're from Guatemala, and they have told me that these young children, as they're like to be called, they are not children at all. But many of them are hardened, almost men who have lived, who perhaps are involved with MS-13, the gangs from down there. They have had a hard life. They have seen murders and rapes, kidnappings, robberies, and the facilities out there, as far as security, there's not even a fence.
So the big concern, as you mentioned, security and exactly who would come to the town. Just really quick, Dan, what's next? I mean, when will you know if this is actually going to take place, and what course of action are you attempting to try to get more information?
Well, we keep in contact with Pioneer Work and Learn on a daily basis. But what they told us was that they would, when the contracts were signed, if they are going to be, they will make a public statement, and they will let us know, and hopefully they will let us know when these buses are going to arrive, if they're going to. Hopefully we'll have a heads up. Well, in some states they just all of a sudden show up, and even the governor doesn't know about it. So I hope that doesn't happen here.
Well, it's interesting to get your perspective, though, one town's perspective on how this issue is impacting you so far away from the border. Dan, let's stay close. We've also reached out to Wolverine Human Services Pioneer Work and Learn Center in Vassar, by the way. We haven't received any response, so we're waiting for that as well. Dan, great to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Fox News alert, President Obama is in McLean, Virginia right now, making remarks on the economy.